If you are thinking about a career in cybersecurity or you have already started your career and you would like to learn how to make the most of it, then this is the course for you. In part one of this course, I walked you through the cybersecurity career field, various job roles and requirements. So who haven't watched part one of this course, then click on the I button and land yourself on part one. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Vinay Kumar. I'm a cybersecurity consultant and I have been in this field for more than a decade. I'm delighted to be here again today to talk to you about cybersecurity careers and certifications. In this part of the course, I'll dissect the most in demand and relevant cybersecurity certifications to help you get the job you want and give you resources and guidance to get those certifications. Then we will look at your cybersecurity career path with the help of few career examples. And at the end of this course, I'll share some career advice from my own experiences that will help you in the long run. This course is about what it takes to be a successful cybersecurity professional. I'll explain why cybersecurity professionals are in such high demand and dissect marketplaces where they are especially needed. This course explores more common cybersecurity jobs and the skills necessary for each. You will learn about the many security certifications you can take to enhance your career, focusing on certifications which are most commonly requested by employers. I'll share career advice to improve your chances of advancing as a cybersecurity professional. You will finish this course, you will know which actions to take to begin or improve your cybersecurity career. And while I make no assumptions about who you are and why you might be taking this course, I think this course should be most useful to three type of people. First, this course is for anyone regardless of background who has an interest in technology and security and wants to explore what it takes to be an cybersecurity professional. Currently, IT security professionals looking to transition to a more exciting or lucrative career as are also good candidates for this course. You will learn why cybersecurity professionals are in such high demand and why they may enjoy more job satisfaction than they would in other IT jobs. Finally, this course is for people who are currently in cybersecurity field who want to enhance their career. You will learn about certifications to validate your experience and make you a more desirable candidate. I designed this course to benefit people from a wide variety of backgrounds and experience, and I hope that includes you. There are 5 reasons why you want to consider starting a career in cybersecurity. First, there's much more demand for qualified cybersecurity professionals than supply. As I will show in the history of cybersecurity video, recent trends including the increased number of successful security attacks and regulatory requirements for strong security are driving demand for cybersecurity professionals. Second, once you have your cybersecurity jobs, as long as you are effective in your role, you can expect long-term job security because good cybersecurity professionals are so hard to find. A smart organization will want you to stay as long as possible. There are many type of IT security or cybersecurity jobs to choose from. You shouldn't have any problem finding a job that fits your skill set, experience, personality, and career aspirations. Fourth, there is a plenty of career growth potential when you have a cybersecurity job. You can start out as a brand new cybersecurity technician and take your career all the way to a cybersecurity director if that's your desire. And finally, a great reason to start a career in cybersecurity is you will probably get paid more. 2015 Burning Glass Cybersecurity Jobs Report identified a security premium of 9% compared to other IT workers. In other words, cybersecurity professionals can expect to get an average salary premium of nearly $6,500 per year because their skills are in such high demand. These 5 reasons why many people are seriously considering starting a career in cybersecurity. Certifications are an important part of cybersecurity career. There are 3 main reasons why certifications are so important. First, certifications demonstrate a certain level of competency within the cybersecurity field. By obtaining a certification, you are showing that you have a thorough understanding of the concept and technologies covered on the exam. This helps an employer quickly gauge your skill set. Second, certifications demonstrate your commitment to the cybersecurity career path. Obtaining any security certification is a challenge, even if you have been a security professional for a while. And as we will see, certifications aren't cheap either. You probably wouldn't go through the hassle of getting and maintaining a certification if you weren't interested in a long-term career in cybersecurity. And this is a good sign to employers. Third, and perhaps most importantly, certifications are often required before you can apply for certain cybersecurity jobs. Many employers will use certifications as a way to determine if a candidate is qualified, and if you do not have the right certifications, you might not be considered for certain cybersecurity jobs, even if you happen to be an expert in the necessary skills. I'm going to detail down 9 cybersecurity certifications that are most frequently required in cybersecurity job listings. For each of the certification, I'll cover a description of the certification, which organization offers it, which jobs often require it, topics you will be tested on, and other related information. These are arranged in rough order of experience level required for each of the certifications from intermediate to expert. One thing you should know about certifications is that many of them are only valid for a certain number of years, usually just 3 years. You can maintain your certification for longer, though, if you track your continuing professional education or CPE. CPEs show that you are staying active and involved in cybersecurity field. You can count many activities and experiences for CPEs, such as attending trainings and conferences, reading or writing cybersecurity articles or books, and participating in professional security organizations. If your certification require CPEs, be sure to read and follow the rules if you want to keep your certification from lapsing. Getting certification is important for your cybersecurity career. They prove you know your stuff, and they might just help you get that job you have always wanted. The Security Plus certification offered by CompTIA is extremely popular among both employers and security professionals. A good reason for its popularity is its accessibility. There is no experience required to take it. The topics covered in the exam are fundamental enough that any security professional should know them. And compared to other certifications, the cost of the exam is relatively low. In 2020, the cost of this exam is just over $339. The Security Plus certification is designed to validate your knowledge of fundamental technical security concepts such as network and operations, security threats and vulnerabilities, compliance, access control, identity management, cryptography, and more. Security Plus is similarly to the SSCP certification offered by ISC Square and topics covered, although the SSCP requires at least 1 year of work experience in cybersecurity. Topics you can expect to see on the Security Plus exam include the CIA Triad, access control concepts, Kerberos, CHAP, Radius, TCAS and TCAS Plus, PPTP and L2TP, IPSEC, 802.1x, and many more. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the Security Plus certification include specialist, analyst, consultant, and architects. There are many resources available to help you prepare for the Security Plus exam. You can check online resources. Cibrari offers a free Security Plus training course through their website. You may find that augmenting video learning with a book or two can help you master complex topics. While there are many written resources to choose from, these 4 books thoroughly cover the most recent version of the exam and have been well received by the security community. The core content of each is fairly similar, so writing style and additional resources can help you select one that's right for you. CompTIA Security Plus Get Certified Get Hacked breaks the exam down into bite-sized chunks with quizzes and practice tests throughout. Cyber Security Plus study guide includes electronic flashcards and assessment tests. Mike Muir's CompTIA Security Plus certification guide includes lab simulations and video lectures. CompTIA Security Plus certification practice exam includes a digital practice test environment. Once you have the Security Plus certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 50 CPEs every 3 years. Check the CompTIA Security Plus website for more details about getting CPEs. The Security Plus certification is a great way for any security professional to demonstrate a firm understanding of important technical security topics. The GIAC Security Essential or GSEC certification offered by GIAC is designed to demonstrate your knowledge of security fundamentals. This is a great certification for security professionals who want to prove that they have the skills for a hands-on job as a security technician, specialist, analyst, or administrator. There are no prerequisites to take the GSEC exam, but you will want to have a solid understanding of many technical security topics. There are six major topics on the exam: security concept and technologies such as access control, authentication, and password management; networking concepts and technologies such as network addressing, network mapping, network scanning, and network protocols; Windows security, securing Windows servers services, Windows network security and permissions and user rights; Linux security, configuration fundamentals, OS security tool and utilities, and process and service management; attack types, 802.11 attacks and countermeasures, common types of attacks and viruses and malicious code; and cryptography, concepts and fundamentals, stenography, and PKI. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the GSEC certification include cybersecurity specialists or technicians, analysts, consultants, and administrators. Helpful resources to prepare for the exam include the SAN Security Essentials Bootcamp, the official training course for the GSEC exam, and the GSEC GX Security Essentials certification. All in one exam guide includes practice exam questions and in-depth explanations. Once you have the GSEC certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 36 CPs every 3 years. Check the GIAC website for more details about getting CPs. Getting the GSEC certification is a great way for you to demonstrate a firm understanding on important technical security topics. The System Security Certified Practitioner or SSCP certification offered by ISC Squared validates your knowledge of authentication, intrusion detection prevention, incident response and recovery, threats and vulnerabilities, cryptography, malicious code, countermeasures, and more. The SSCP is similar enough to the Security Plus certification offered by CompTIA that some employers will accept the SSCP in place of the Security Plus. To take the SSCP exam requires a minimum of 1 year of cumulative paid full-time work experience in one or more of the domains of the SSCP Common Body of Knowledge or CBK. If you don't have the required experience, you can still take the exam and become an associate of ISC Squared until you have the required experience. The seven domains of the SSCP, CBK, and topics you will be tested on in the exam include access control, security operations and administration, risk identification, monitoring and analysis, incident response and recovery, cryptography, networks and communications security, and systems and application security. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the SSCP certification include cybersecurity specialist, analyst, consultants, administrators, and security architects. While there are many written resources to choose from, these three books thoroughly cover the most recent version of the exam and have been well received by the security community. The core content of each is fairly similar, so writing style and additional resources can help you select one that's right for you. The official ISC Squared guide to the SSCP CBK is a comprehensive guide into seven domains covered on the exam. SSCP ISC Squared System Security Certified Practitioner official study guide includes a 1 50 question practice exam, and 100 electronic flashcards. And the SSCP system security certified practitioner all in one exam guide includes two full length practice exam and a searchable PDF copy of the book. You also might find the official ISCP Square interactive flashcards to be another helpful resource. Once you have the SSCP certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 60 CPs every 3 years. Check the ISC Squared website for more details about getting CPs. The SSCP certification is a great way to demonstrate your understanding of important technical security concepts. The Certified Ethical Hacker or CEH certification offered by EC Council validates your understanding of the techniques, tools, and technologies used by the hackers to attack and compromise networks. In order to take the exam, you need to attend any official EC Council CEH training or have 2 years of information security experience. Topics you can expect to see on the exam include footprinting and recon, scanning networks, system enumeration, system hacking, malware threats, network traffic sniffing, social engineering attacks, session hijacking, hacking web servers, hacking web applications, SQL injection, and more. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the CEH certification include cybersecurity technician, analyst, auditors, administrators, consultant, and architects. While there are many resources to choose from, these three books thoroughly cover the most recent version of the exam and have been well received by the security community. The core content of each is fairly similar, so writing style and additional resources can help you select one that's right for you. CEH Certified Ethical Hacker all-in-one exam guide includes practice exam questions and in-depth explanations. The Certified Ethical Hacker version 9 study guide includes full-length practice exams and hundreds of electronic flashcards. In the Certified Ethical Hacker version 9, practice test has 5 complete and unique practice exams to test your knowledge. Once you have the CEH certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 120 CPs every 3 years. Check the EC Council website for more details about getting CPs. Getting the CEH certification is a great way for you to demonstrate your understanding of common security attacks and how to protect against them. The Offensive Security Certified Professional or OSCP is a highly regarded technical certification designed to demonstrate that the holder is qualified to conduct penetration tests. The exam of the OSCP certification isn't a traditional multiple choice question. Instead, students are given 24 hours to attack and penetrate a lab network. If they can't compromise the network in that time, then they fail the exam. While there's no experience requirement to take the OSCP exam, completion of the Offensive Security Penetration Testing with Kali Linux training course is required. A solid understanding of TCP/IP networking and Linux goals are also highly recommended. Skills that will help you pass this exam include knowledge of information gathering, techniques to find targets on a network, script and tool writing ability to facilitate penetration testing, ability to modify exploit code to successfully compromise a host, successful execution of attacks, both remote and client side, ability to identify and exploit web applications vulnerabilities such as cross-site scripting, SQL injection, and file inclusion vulnerabilities. Ability to bypass firewalls with the tunneling techniques and creative problem solving and lateral thinking skills. Job listings that often require the OSCP certification include cybersecurity technicians, specialist, analyst, consultant, and penetration testers. The best resource to help you pass this exam is the penetration testing with Kali Linux training course you need to take away. In addition, these books might help you prepare. The Hacker Playbook 2, Practice Guide to Penetration Testing is the go-to book for many penetration tester. Penetration testing, a hands-on introduction to hackers, covers core penetration testing skills and techniques. And the Web Application Hackers Handbooks covers step-by-step techniques for attacking and defending web applications. Because you can't really study for the OSCP, it's considered one of the most challenging cybersecurity certifications. You can only pass if you truly understand network attacks and penetration testing. Passing the OSCP is a significant accomplishment, and the good news is if you once have the OSCP, it never expires and doesn't require CPs. If you plan to be a penetration tester or you are just looking for a challenging certification to validate your strong technical knowledge, you can't go wrong with the OSCP. The Certified Information Systems Auditor or CISA certification offered by ISACA validates your knowledge of cybersecurity audit controls. You will be tested in your ability to assess vulnerabilities, report on compliance, and implement controls within an organization. The CISA is an advanced certification for experienced cybersecurity professionals. In order to take the exam, you need to have 5 years of work experience and information systems auditing or cybersecurity. Your work experience must begin within 10 years prior to applying for the CISA certification or within 5 years of passing the exam. A waiver for up to 3 years of the work experience requirement is available based on previous employment or educational history. Topics you can expect to see on the exam include information systems auditing process, governance and management of IT, information systems acquisition, deployment, and implementation, information systems operations, maintenance, and service management, and protection of information assets. Security job listings that often require the CISA certification include cybersecurity auditors, consultants, architects, and managers. While there are many written resources to choose from, these three books thoroughly cover the most recent version of the exam and have been well received by the security community. The core content of each is fairly similar, so writing style and additional resources can help you select one that's right for you. The CISA Review Manual is the official ISACA reference manual for the exam. The CISA Review Questions, Answers, and Explanations Manual has 1,000 multiple choice study questions from previous CISA exams, and the CISA Certified Information System Auditor Study Guide includes electronic flashcards and practice guides. Once you have the CISA certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 120 CPs every 3 years. Check the ISACA website for more details about getting CPs. The CISA certification is great for aspiring cybersecurity auditors and other security professionals who want to demonstrate their ability to audit cybersecurity controls. The Certified Information System Security Professional or CISSP offered by ISC Square is a globally recognized security certification and one of the most frequently required certification by hiring organization. The CISSP will test your knowledge of designing, engineering, implementing, and managing an information security program that can successfully protect an organization from sophisticated security attacks. The CISSP is an expert level certification which requires 5 years of cybersecurity experience before you can take the exam. 1 year of security experience can be waived if you have a college degree or if you have received one of the approved security certifications. Topics you can expect to see on the exam include security and risk management, asset security, security engineering, communication and network security, identity and access management, security management and testing, security operations, and software development security. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the CISSP certification include cybersecurity analyst, consultant, manager, and directors. While there are many written resources to choose from, these three books thoroughly cover the most recent version of the exam and have been well received by the security community. The core content of each is fairly similar, so writing style and additional resources can help you select one that's right for you. The CISSP all-in-one exam guide includes exam tips, practice questions, and in-depth explanations. The Certified Information System Security Professionals official guide includes four unique practice exams and over 650 electronic flashcards. The CISSP study guide includes learning by example modules and hands-on exercises. Once you have the CISSP certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it longer by obtaining 120 CPEs every 3 years. Check the ISC Squared website for more details about getting CPEs. Getting the CISSP certification is a great way for cybersecurity professionals who want to demonstrate their knowledge of advancing security concepts. The Certified Information Systems Manager or CISM certification offered by ISACA validates your knowledge of cybersecurity management principles. You will be tested on your understanding on how to manage, design, oversee, and assess an organization's information security program. The CISM is an advanced certification for experienced cybersecurity professionals. In order to take the exam, you need to have 5 years of information security work experience with a minimum of 3 years of information security management work experience. Your work experience must be gained within 10 years prior to applying for the CISM certification or within 5 years of passing the exam. A waiver for up to 3 years of the work experience requirement is available based on previous employment or educational history. Topics you can expect to see on the exam include information security governance, information risk management and compliance, security program development and management, and information security incident management. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the CISM certification include cybersecurity managers, directors, consultants, auditors, architects, and engineers. All the resources you need to study for the CISM are available from ISACA website. The CISM review manual is the official ISACA reference manual for the exam. CISM review questions, answers, and explanations is a collection of 950 exam questions. And the CISM exam study community gives you the chance to study with other security professionals preparing for the exam. Once you have the CISM certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 120 CPEs every 3 years. Check the ISACA website for more details about getting CPEs. Getting the CISM certification is great for aspiring cybersecurity managers and other security professionals who want to demonstrate their ability to manage information security programs. The Certified Protection Professional or CPP certification offered by ASIS validates your knowledge of security management principles. The exam covers 7 security management domains and is similar to the CISM certification in some ways. The CPP is an advanced certification for experienced cybersecurity professionals. In order to take the exam, you need 9 years of security work experience, with at least 3 of those years in a security management position, or a bachelor's degree or higher, and 7 years of security work experience with at least 3 of those years in a security management position. Topics you can expect to see on the exam include security principles and practices, business principles and practices, investigations, personal security, physical security, information security, and crisis management. Cybersecurity job listings that often require the CPP certification include cybersecurity managers, directors, consultants, auditors, architects, and engineers. The CPP exam is a little different than all the rest because it's based on standards and guidelines defined by ASIS. These will be the best resources for you to use to study for the exam. The Protection of Assets or POA is a comprehensive set of security reference guides, and the CPP standards and guidelines set is a package of 8 standards and guidelines books. Once you have the CPP certification, it's valid for 3 years. You can retain it for longer by obtaining 60 CPs every 3 years. Check the ASIS website for more details about getting CPs. Getting the CPP certification is great for aspiring cybersecurity managers and other security professionals who want to demonstrate their ability to manage information security programs. When it comes to cybersecurity certifications, there are dozens to choose from. If you wanted to get certified, you could be forgiven for being overwhelmed and not knowing where to start. There are also many specialized security certifications, including business continuity and disaster recovery, digital forensics, cybersecurity audit, penetration testing, software development, incident response, physical security, and cloud security. If you already have experience in any of these areas, research the associated certifications and determine if you are ready to take the exam or if you will have some studying to do. Because the purpose of getting the cybersecurity certification is to validate that you understand a particular topic, you should only take an exam in that area if you want to continue doing that type of work. Cybersecurity jobs will list the certifications candidates need to have. You should research those certifications and start preparing for them if you have the appropriate level of experience. While there are many cybersecurity certifications to choose from, chances are good you will be able to find a certification that's right for you, no matter where you are in your career. There are certain qualities and criterias that can help you land cybersecurity jobs. I'll call them prerequisites. Even though they may not be strictly required for all jobs in this field, if you are interested in a cybersecurity job, though you will want to have as many of these prerequisites as possible, especially if you are just starting out. First, as I have mentioned, someone who wants an cybersecurity career should have a passion for technology and security. Otherwise, you may find that you are in over your head or you might get bored. Second, you should have a bachelor's degree or be currently pursuing one. While not required for all roles, they are often included in job listings for all but the most entry level positions. The best degrees for cybersecurity professionals will be technical ones like computer information systems. But other degrees may be acceptable too. Employers require a bachelor's degree as a filter to help ensure higher quality workers. And the technical degree demonstrate not only that you have the necessary education in the field, but your level of interest as well. Third, you will want to have as much as security and technology experience as possible. While on the job experience is great, there are other creative ways to get experience. If you don't have any experience, it could hamper your ability to get a job. The final prerequisite is certifications like bachelor's degree. Certifications are a way for employers to filter out candidates that may not be qualified for the job. If you are missing any prerequisites, you can still work in cybersecurity. However, the more of these you have, the easier it will be to get the job you want. Let's say if you have decided to get started in cybersecurity career, but you are missing that essential element, experience. Most cybersecurity jobs, even entry-level jobs, require years of experience in security field. But how you are supposed to get the experience for the job if you need the job to get the experience? This sounds like the classic chicken and egg problem. Luckily, there are many ways to solve this problem, but first let's talk about what experience is. Many people might think experience only means to get the job experience, but there are plenty of other ways to get valuable experience, all of which will look great on a resume. The first way is to get the DIY route and get security experience on your own. This approach is only limited by your imagination. But here are some suggestions. Build a lab network at home and figure out how to secure it. While this will require an investment in equipment and softwares, much of what you need can be found through inexpensive sources like Amazon. Go to vulnhub.com and practice finding application vulnerabilities. Go to capture the flag sites and practice hacking and penetration testing safely and legally. And take online security courses. If they provide a certificate of completion at the end, make sure to print it out and keep it for your records. When it comes to adding DIY experience to your resume, make sure you frame it as specific security goals you accomplished, built and secured a Windows Active Directory network is better than build a lab network at home. The second way to get the experience is an intern. The demand for cybersecurity help is so high that many organizations would love to have an intern to help out. Interns are often college students with little or no actual cybersecurity experience. Internship are usually short term and low pay, but they are a great way to get valuable real world experience. You can find internships through search engines, queries, or job listing sites like indeed.com. A third way to get experience is by volunteering your time and skills. Many charitable and non-profit organizations have computer networks and websites, but they can't afford to hire a security professional to help keep them secure. This is where you can step in to help the organization while at the same time giving yourself real-world experience perfect to put on a resume. Think of local non-profit organizations like churches, animal shelters, and community centers, which could use your help securing their computer networks or websites. Contact the organization that appeals to you and offers to help. Chances are good they will be more than happy to have you help them out. Finally, another way to get cybersecurity experience is to find ways to get the experience in the job you already have. This is especially easy if you are already in an IT job. Then it's just a matter of identifying the parts of your jobs that relate to security. For instance, if you are an IT help desk technician, perhaps you have added and removed users, changed user privileges, and troubleshoot anti-malware or other security systems. All these count as security experience. Even if security isn't in your job title, if you are creative, you shouldn't have any problem finding ways to get the experience you need to qualify for the job you want. With a little creativity, you shouldn't have any problem finding ways to get the experience you need to qualify for the job you want. Achieving an cybersecurity certification is not an easy task. To begin, it's important to understand why you are getting a certification because there are many misconceptions about the purposes of getting certified. Certifications are meant to validate your knowledge of a certain security area. Some people, though, think the purpose of certification is to help them break into the security field, even without the appropriate amount of experience. They will see a job which requires a certain certification and they think by getting the certification it will help them get the job, but a certain certification should be obtained only after you get the experience, not before. This is especially true for the advanced and expert certifications like the CISA, CSIM, and CISSP. Getting the needed years of experience will help you prepare for these certifications more than simply studying for them would. In other words, studying alone can't replace real world experience. Having said that, studying is still very important. It would be foolish to take an exam without studying for it first. As you get started, give yourself plenty of time to study based on the types of exam. Some exams like the CISSP cover a much broader body of knowledge than other exams. Make sure to give yourself plenty of time to learn the necessary information. Don't make the mistakes of to cram at the last minute, or you will reduce your chances of passing. Second, study every day. Even studying half an hour every day is better than trying to study for several hours once a week. Consistent studying will help you maintain the habit as well as absorb and retain the knowledge better, especially since you will have the time to repeatedly study key concepts. Third, try to incorporate many forms of studying into your routine. Some people think reading only one study guide is sufficient, but most guides aren't comprehensive enough. Be prepared to study from many resources, including books, study guides, articles, and websites. Some resources include live sessions with an expert, video lectures, flashcards, practice stats, and online study groups. Various forms of studying not only help you learn all the material for the exam, they make studying a bit more interesting and less monotonous. My final study tip is to schedule and pay for your exam at least 6 months in advance. Paying for an exam is often non refundable, so once you have paid, you are committed. Now you will have a real deadline that should help compel you to get serious about studying. On that note, let's take a little about paying for an exam. Cybersecurity certifications often come with hidden costs. In addition to the exam fee itself, which is usually hundreds of dollars, you can expect to also pay an application fee, training cost like books and courses, and annual renewable fee. These costs can add up to a lot of money. Check with your employer to find out if they will cover some or all these costs. In many cases, they will. The best employers want their staff to get certified. If they don't, it's possible that these costs will be tax deductible. Check with your accountant or tax advisor to be sure. In any case, because of how it can improve your career, the cost and effort of getting and maintaining and cybersecurity certification should be well worth it. There are many paths someone could take to become an penetration tester. Let's take a look at one example career path from IT hobbies to penetration tester for a woman I'll call Jordan. Jordan always had a strong interest in computer and security. She had a computer as a kid, and instead of using it to play games, she would tinker with it to find out how it worked. She taught herself how to use Windows command prompt and experimented with various commands. She would dismantle her computer and ask her dad what all the parts inside were. In high school, she joined the computer club and started building her own computers. Soon, she had a small home network with a server and workstations, which she could configure to be as secure as possible. After high school, Jordan landed a job as an entry-level IT help desk technician. During the day, she solved problems for end users, and at night, she would study computer networking. Her favorite part of the job was learning how to use tools like Nmap and Wireshark from the network engineers. Sometimes she would help the networking team troubleshoot issues. Jordan heard about a job as a penetration tester, and it sounds like a dream job to her. It would be a way she could have fun with her computer networking and security skills and get paid for it. Jordan researched penetration testing jobs and found them that many would require the OSCP certification. She saved her money and took the online penetration testing with Kali Linux training course, which is required before taking the OSCP exam. The course was 90 days of working in an online lab hacking servers. Jordan learned how to use privilege escalation, cross-site scripting, SQL injection, and other tactics to compromise servers. She found the course challenging and educational. After 90 days, she took the OSCP exam. It was a 24-hour marathon to hack as many as server as possible in a lab environment. She hacked the servers for 24 hours straight and sent her results back to offensive security, not knowing if she had passed. She was elated to find out a few days later that she had, with her years of hands on computer networking and security experience, plus her OSCP certification. Jordan was hired as a junior penetration tester for a large security firm. All that's left now to decide is if she wants to stay a penetration tester or pick another job role on the career path, such as consultant, engineer, or architect. There are many paths someone could take to become a security architect. Let's take a look at one example career path to security architect for a man I'll call Pankaj. Pankaj always had a strong interest in computers and security and knew from a young age that he wanted to work in cybersecurity field. In high school, he excelled in math and computer classes. After high school, Pankaj went to a local technical college and got a degree in information system security. He especially enjoyed learning about how to securely design computer networks. With his degree, Pankaj got hired as a cybersecurity analyst for a telecommunication company. His job was to run vulnerability scans on the corporate network, analyze the results, and work with IT technicians to remediate the most critical vulnerabilities. One of the things he liked most about his job was learning about the company's network infrastructure. He decided to get the GX certification essentials or GSEC certification, and his boss agreed to pay for the training and exam costs. After studying for many months, he passed the exam on his first try. Pankaj enjoyed his job, but several years of running vulnerability scans, he was getting bored. Since he liked network security, he decided he would like to be a security architect. He knew he would need many years of experience working on network security before he got hired as a security architect and was willing to put in the time. Before long, a junior security engineer position opened at his company, which Pankaj applied for and was accepted. This was a very hands-on role assisting senior engineers as they deployed and configured firewalls and other networks equipment throughout the corporate network. He loved this job because it fit in with his skill set and gave him the experience he needed to reach his career goal. After several years, Pankaj got a promotion to security engineer and was no longer considered a junior engineer. Now Pankaj had enough experience to qualify for the CISSP certification. Like before, his boss agreed to pay for the training and exam. Pankaj studied for months, took the exam and passed. Finally, there was an opening for a security junior security architect at his company. Pankaj had all the qualifications, including a college degree in an IT field, at least 5 years of hands-on experience, and the CISSP certification. It helped that he was an internal candidate for, and many people on the hiring team already knew him as a qualified and dedicated security professional. Pankaj got the junior security architect job and worked with senior architects to design security solutions for the corporate network. From here, he can decide if he wants to stay an architect from rest of his career or work toward other senior cybersecurity roles such as manager or director. There are many paths one could take to become a chief information security officer or CISO. Let's take a look at one example career path to CISO for a woman. I'll call Alice. Alice started her career with a computer information systems bachelor degree. She decided to get a CIS degree because she liked technology and she knew IT would be a growing field. While she was in college, Alice heard about a scholarship through the Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corp or ROTC, which would pay for much of her degree. She applied for the scholarship, and because of her strong grades, and she received it. Accepting the scholarship meant that she would have to join the Air Force after graduating, but she was fine with that because it meant she would have a guaranteed job. When she graduated, Alice became a computer systems officer in the Air Force, leading a team of 12 cybersecurity technicians. Their job was to respond to all security incidents at her base. She got plenty of hands-on experience in securing computer and communication systems. Once she had enough experience, she studied for and passed the CISSP exam. After 10 years in the Air Force, she felt to begin her civilian career. Her experience with cybersecurity as a supervisor and an Air Force officer helped her get hired as a security manager for a technology company. Her job was to manage a small team of security technicians and engineers to implement the company's security program. She wrote the company's security policies and standards and conducted information security risk assessments. After several years at this job, she studied for and passed the CISM exam. Alice enjoyed her job. With her leadership experience, she knew she could do much more. After 5 years in this role, Alice saw an opening for CISO at a university. She had all the qualifications, including a college degree in an IT field, at least 5 years of hands-on experience, at least 7 years supervising people, and a CISSP and CSIM certification. She got the CISO job, which meant she directed a security staff at the university to implement the security program, comply with the regulatory requirements, and much more. From there, she can decide if she would like to stay as a CISO at the university or move on to another job or another CISO position at a much larger organization. In Stephen Covey's The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, habit number two is begin with the end in the mind. This is a great habit to apply to cybersecurity career. As early in your career as possible, you should decide where you want to be at the end. Let's say you are starting your career as a cybersecurity specialist and you have already decided that you would like to be a chief information security officer someday. So the CISO job is the end you keep in mind as you progress through your career. In this case, you would want to become very familiar with what it takes to be a CISO. Research the required skills and qualifications by reading CISO job listings on sites like LinkedIn and Indeed.com. Make a list of any job requirement you are missing and start working to fill in those gaps. If you need a certain type of experience, for example, make a plan to get that experience. If you need specific certifications, find out their requirements and start preparing to take them, and so on. Motivational speaker Zig Ziglar had a great quote: don't become a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific. The same goes for your cybersecurity career. If you don't get specific about your career goals, you may wander aimlessly from job to job. The clearer you define the end you have in mind and the more you make strategic career decisions to reach that goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. The cybersecurity field is surprisingly small. For instance, the CISSP credential was first launched in 1994, but as of 2016, there are less than 71,000 people in the US with that certification. If we look at a more specialized certification like the ISSEP for security engineers, that number drops to just over 1,000. The longer you work in field this small, more likely you will run across the same people again and again, especially if you are participating in security organizations and events. Rather than making casual acquaintances with other security professionals you meet, you should make an effort to get to know them. Doing so can benefit you in many ways. First, by getting to know other security colleagues, you will get a chance to learn about what they do, which will expand your knowledge of the cybersecurity field. Which security systems they use, which law they need to comply with, and what security frameworks they follow are just a few of the things you can ask them about. Then compare their answers with what you do in your organization. Just taking to other security professionals can educate you on the latest technologies and security trends. Second, networking with other professionals in the security field could uncover opportunities you would have never found otherwise. Maybe you will be told about a job that's perfect fit for you, or one of your colleagues is looking for a new job and your company is hiring, or they may tell you about a job security event or some other opportunity that you wouldn't want to miss. You would have never made this discovery if you didn't make the effort to connect with security colleagues. And finally, one of the best reasons for networking is you will certainly make friends along the way. I have many security friends who I met for the first time over coffee. We regularly stay in touch, and I know I can turn to them if I ever need a favor, and I'm sure the feeling's mutual. So when a security colleague hands you their card, don't just stick it in your pocket and forget about it. Offer to meet them sometime for lunch, coffee, or drinks. When you get together, learn about what they do in security field, how long they have been doing their job, whether or not they like it, and so on. Then ask them if there's anything you can do for them, even if there's nothing you can help them with at that time. They'll probably remember your offer if you ever contact them asking for a favor. If you haven't already, read books like How to Make Friends and Influence People and Never Eat Alone. You will learn simple ways to make meaningful connections with people that last a lifetime. My network of security colleagues would be the first people I would turn to if I'm ever looking for a job or if my company is hiring. If you develop it correctly, your network of security professionals will prove extremely valuable over the course of your career. One of the benefits of being an cybersecurity professional is the great variety of events which you can participate in. Just some of the options include chapter meetings for professional organizations like SACA, ISSA, Cloud Security Alliance, and others. Security conferences and conventions, vendor presentations and meetups, and other informal gatherings of security professionals. There are many reasons why these events are beneficial, including staying current with security trends, earning CPs, networking with colleagues, and leadership and speaking opportunities. Events are excellent for staying current with trends in the industry. You will learn about the latest security products, technologies, and threats, often from fellow security colleagues sharing their personal experiences. Attending any of these events count as continuing professional education or CPEs credit towards maintaining certifications like CISSP. If you frequently attend security events, you won't have any trouble meeting your minimum annual CPEs requirement. Security events are perfect places to meet other security professionals to build your network of colleagues. You will also find plenty of leadership opportunities at events. Someone needs to put on these security events, and if you are looking for a chance to lead, it's likely many of these organizations would love your help. Often, larger conferences will have advisories or leadership boards, and all professional organizations like ISACA and ISSA have chapter leadership teams who run the regular meetings as well as special events. They are always looking for people to set up and take leadership roles. And finally, events provide great speaking opportunities. If you have a topic you are dying to share, or you simply love to speak, chances are good you will be accepted if you submit a proposal to these events. Security events, large and small, are often seeking speakers, and if your topics fits the theme of the event or is compelling enough, you may be asked to speak. The good news is that many security events are free or relatively inexpensive. It's possible that your employer may cover some of or all of the cost too. So I encourage you to take advantage of many security events as your schedule and boss will allow. Even though the cybersecurity field is small and demand for qualified security professional is high, getting hired by your employer of choice can still be competitive. Depending on the position, some organizations are willing to hire candidates who don't live locally and relocate them if they are good fit, increasing the competition even further. That's why it's important to do a good job of marketing yourself. There's no shame in smart self promotion. In fact, it's one of the most effective ways to advance your careers. One of the most important tool for marketing yourself is your resume. Your resume is like your personal brochure, and it's often the first impression employers get about you. Your resume should concisely capture all major accomplishment of your career, and as much as possible, you should tailor it to meet the needs of the employers you are approaching. If you are not happy with your resume, there are many resources to help you improve it. You can find plenty of great books on resume writing, and you can even take resume writing courses. Another approach you can take is to ask fellow security colleagues for copies of their resumes. You can use them as templates and example to make improvements in your resume. LinkedIn is another important marketing tool. Recruiters often use LinkedIn when searching for candidates to fill cybersecurity positions. Your LinkedIn profile should paint a vivid picture of your professional career. The more detail you can provide about your skills and accomplishment, the better. Once your profile is complete, commit to keeping it up to date. Whenever you have another accomplishment, get another security credential or make a job change. Also, it's wise to learn how to optimize your LinkedIn profile for best search results. Implementing certain techniques can improve your placement in LinkedIn searches and make a better impression when once someone finds it. Marketing yourself doesn't take much time or effort, but it can have a significant positive impact on your career if you do. You might find cybersecurity job descriptions which include the phrase must have a depth of knowledge. This means that the most employers don't want candidates who have just a superficial understanding of security. They are not interested in hiring someone who did just a little research on a topic. They are looking for people who have extensive experience in a given area of security. The good news is you can build your own depth of knowledge in security if you don't have it already. When you have a security topic you enjoy, say digital forensic, take it seriously and learn it inside out. This is especially important if you would like to get a job doing that all the time. Study this topic in your free time, attend sessions on it at security conferences, go to trainings about it, and take one of our courses on it. The point is to take that deep dive on it and learn it thoroughly versus just casually understanding it. Then, once you have a good understanding of the topic, find ways to implement your knowledge on the job. Even if it isn't a perfect fit, there are likely ways that the knowledge you are building can helpful in your job. For instance, if you are a help desk technician learning digital forensic, your knowledge can be very useful in the event of a security incident that requires forensic skills that no one else in your organization has. Finally, now that you have a good understanding of it, take opportunities to train others in your favorite security topic. As they say, while we teach, we learn. By teaching others, you force yourself to refrain everything you know in a way that other people can understand. This means you are retaining yourself a second chance on the topic and likely learning about it more thoroughly. Plus, when you teach others, you are probably getting the best learning tools of all questions. When people ask you questions you can answer, that confirms your knowledge but eliminates what you didn't cover in your training. And when someone asks a question you don't know the answer to, that's a perfect opportunity to expand your knowledge in that area. There are many ways you can train other people in your security topic. You can teach your co-workers uh, during brown bag lunches, at company meetings, and through newsletters. You can also speak at conferences in chapter meetings for security professional organizations like ISACA meetups and other events. You can also write articles and post them online through blogs or via LinkedIn. And don't hesitate to teach others even if you think your topic is too technical for them to understand. If even just one other person wants to learn from you, both of you will benefit. When you build a depth of knowledge, you benefit yourself by enjoying what you do. Others, when you share your knowledge, and your employer when you provide valuable service to the organization. In this course, we discussed many cybersecurity career paths and certifications. You should now have a better understanding why there's such a huge demand for cybersecurity professionals and have enough information to start or advance your career. Hopefully, you can use the knowledge gained in this course to build your ideal career path. If you are ready to start, I encourage you to check out our other courses. Uh, that is cybersecurity training for beginners full course. There are courses for beginners, please click on the I button to land yourself on cybersecurity full course for beginners. We publish new courses on every Tuesday, so don't miss to subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell icon so you are aware about new videos. Whatever path you choose, I hope you are able to find your place in the exciting world of cybersecurity. Congratulations and good luck. Thank you for watching. If you have got any questions or concern, then the fastest way to reach us is the comment box. Alternatively, you can drop us an email at cybercyber@gmail.com. To keep yourself updated with new topics, trends, and documents, you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. You can use our unique ID CyberCyber to find us on these social media platforms. Please subscribe to our channel, press the notification bell icon, like the video, and let's cyber the cyberspace in a whole new way and build this learning loving community together. Thank you so much for watching. Happy learning.